Welcome, students. Today your lesson is called Solving Inequalities by Multiplying and Dividing. And this should be another review lesson, kind of like yesterday's. And we're going to be, again, solving these like you would a one-step equation. You're always doing the opposite operation. So on the first one, we see 30 is greater than 1/2 times n. So whenever you see multiplication, you're going to do the opposite as division. But with a fraction, dividing a fraction means you flip and multiply it. So you're going to flip this 1/2 over and multiply 2/1 to the other side. And this is one way to solve it. And you just do 2 times, you put your 30/1. 2 times 30 is 60, greater than n. And then if you had to graph it, we don't have to graph them today, but you would flip it around and put the n first. N is less than 60. And that's how you solve that one. Okay, again, you see multiplication by 26, so you're going to divide both sides by 26. 26 divided by 26 is 1, and a negative divided by a positive is a negative, less than t. Everything stays the same. Bring your t around, so you have the variable on the left side. And that's how you solve it so far. Nothing different. You see divided by 2, h divided by 2. Something's being divided, you're going to multiply it on both sides. So these cancel out, leaving h less than -5 times 2 is a -10. And we're finished there. Let me show you some more examples. Now we have 9t is greater than 108. When it's multiplied, we're going to divide both sides by 9. And then we'll be left with t is greater than 12. Very easy. Now here's where it gets different. If you are multiplying or dividing with a negative number, you have to flip your sign. Now I'm going to say that again. Very important rule with multiplying and dividing inequalities. If you bring across the inequality symbol a negative, you have to flip your sign, and that's what's going to happen on these next two problems. We see a -3/4. We're going to take that -3/4, we're going to flip it over and bring it to the other side and make it a -4/3. That's how we get rid of it. We flip it and multiply it on the other side. Again, that's one way to do it. You're going to put your -6/1. We're going to cross simplify, or you can just go straight across and then divide. I like to cross simplify. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into -6 -2 times. Now I'm going to multiply straight across. -2 times -4 is a +8. And then you have a 1 on bottom, so it's just going to stay 8. R comes down. But since I brought a negative, this negative came over here, this sign will flip around. Always flip your sign if you're moving a negative across. And then there's our answer. R is greater than or equal to a +8. You can always check these. Moving to the next one, C divided by a -6. And you can put that negative with the 6. You want to put it with the 6. I see dividing 6, so I'm going to multiply both sides by a -6. These 6's cancel, leaving C. Since I brought a negative across, there goes another negative. I'm going to flip my sign around, and then I'm going to work it out. 7 times 6 is 42, and a negative times a positive is a -42. And there's my answer for this one. That's the key and the most important thing. If it's a negative that you are moving, you have to flip your sign. If you'll go back and look at one of these, I didn't flip my sign on this problem because I did not move a negative across. I moved a positive over. So I don't flip it. I only flip it if there's a negative with the variable. That's when you flip your sign. All right, let's go to a couple of word problems. You know how to read these and work these out. The American history classes are planning a trip to a local museum. Admission is $8 per person. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. $8 per person. Determine how many people can go for $260. Well, I know we've got 260. I know we cannot go over 260. So it has to be less than. or equal to, because we can spend 260. And then to start solving it, we have to divide by 8. So when you do 260 divided by 8, 8 will go into 26 3 times. That'd be a 24. We have 2 left. Bring down our 0. 8 goes into 20 2 times, and that would be 16. And then we've got a 4. And we could keep going at our decimal and get 32.5. But we can't have 32.5 people going to a museum. So the most we can have is at most 32 people. And that's our answer. And that's how that works. You can't have half a person. So we'll put that down. Let's do our next problem. The National Honor Society at Pleasantville High School wants to raise at least $500 for a local charity. So I'm going to concentrate on that right there. At least 500. That's going to be, means it can be more than 500. So I'm going to put greater than or equal to 500. Because at least, that would be exactly how that works. Each student earns 50 cents for every quarter of a mile. So they get 50 cents for every quarter of a mile. That's an important relationship to write down. How many miles will the students need to walk? And here's the trick. They want miles, not quarter miles. So we need to know how much do they earn for a full mile. So obviously there's 4 quarters in a mile, so we'll do 4 times 50 cents, and we'll get $2 is what 1 mile earns. And that's what we're going to put up here. 2m is greater than or equal to 500 because it's $2 per mile. And then we'll divide our 500 by 2, and we'll find out that the number of miles can be greater than or equal to 250. So they need to walk at least 250 total miles to make $500. And that's how you work that out. At least. So to go back and recap really fast, because this is a short video, if you have a negative with the variable, the negative is what you're moving across the inequality. You have to flip your sign, like right here. Flip it. Right here, we had to flip it. We didn't flip it on any of the other problems. Those are the 2 important ones. I also want to show you another way to solve this problem. If you can't remember to flip your fraction, the other way to solve it is to say, well, I see a 4 being divided, so first I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. The 4's will cancel, leaving me negative 3r less than or equal to negative 24. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3 to get rid of my negative 3. Since I'm bringing a negative across, my sign flips. 3's are gone. Negative 24 divided by negative 3 is a positive 8. Either way, you can solve that problem either way. You guys pick which one's easiest. I will see you in class. That's the end of the video.